You know the scene. It's late, you're tucked into bed, the lights are out, but your face is lit up by the glow of your phone. We all do it. But what if that seemingly harmless little habit has a hidden cost? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dig into the science and find out what that nightly scroll is really doing to your brain and, of course, your sleep.
So let me just ask you, and be honest, does this sound familiar? You've had a long day, you're finally in bed, ready to sleep, but first, you just gotta have one last look at your phone.
If you're nodding your head right now, you are definitely not alone. It's actually kind of wild. A recent poll found that a staggering 70% of people use social media after they've already gotten into bed. It's not just a quirk anymore, it's basically the new normal.
But here's the thing. While it might feel like a perfectly fine way to just, unwind, this habit has a very real impact. So let's pull back the curtain and see what's actually going on inside your head when you choose that screen over sleep.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the most immediate problem, how our phones are, quite literally, stealing our sleep. And I don't just mean that they're a time suck. I'm talking about a deep biological disruption.
The main culprit here? It's something called blue light. See, during the day, sunlight tells our brain, hey, it's time to be awake, be alert. Well, the blue light from our phone screens does the exact same thing. It basically tricks your brain into thinking it's still the middle of the afternoon, which just throws your body's internal clock, your circadian rhythm, completely out of sync.
But it's not just a physical thing. Oh no, there's a huge psychological hook too. And I'm sure you've heard of it, FOMO, the fear of missing out. It's that nagging anxiety, that little voice in your head telling you that if you sign off, you're going to miss something absolutely crucial.
And this is where that vicious cycle really kicks in. Research shows pretty clearly that people with higher levels of FOMO are way more likely to be checking their feeds right when they should be trying to fall asleep. That anxiety keeps your mind racing, making it almost impossible to switch off and just rest.
Okay, so we're tired the next day. Big deal, right? Just grab some coffee. But what's the deeper cost here? Let's zoom in a bit and look at how this habit is messing with our brain's core functions, the very tools we need to think clearly and get through the day.
First, there's something called inhibitory control. The easiest way to think about this is like your brain's brake pedal. It's what helps you resist impulses, ignore that notification that just popped up, and actually stay focused on what you're doing. It's your self-control center.
Next up is working memory. You can think of this as your brain's mental sticky note. It's what lets you hold a few pieces of information in your head at once to get a task done, like remembering a shopping list while you're at the store. Super important for, well, pretty much everything.
And the third piece of this puzzle is cognitive flexibility. This is kind of like your brain's gear shift. It's the ability that lets you smoothly switch from one task to another or to think about a problem from a different angle when you get stuck.
Now this is the real aha moment. Social media platforms are not just passive places. They are actively designed, with things like infinite scroll and endless notifications, to do one thing: grab your attention and completely overwhelm that mental brake pedal we were just talking about. It's not an accident, it's a feature.
So here's how it all connects. All that frantic jumping from a video to a message to an article, that's a massive tax on your brain. It overloads your mental sticky note, it wears out your brake pedal, and it makes it way harder for your gear shift to work properly. Now look, this affects all of us, but it is a really serious issue for young people. Why? Because their brains are literally still under construction until their mid-20s. The very parts of the brain that handle these functions are developing, and they're particularly vulnerable to this kind of disruption. And the numbers here are just wow. A massive 95% of teens have a smartphone. And get this, almost half of them say they're online almost constantly. This isn't just a casual habit for them. For many, it's a constant state of being.
And this has real-world consequences. All that screen time isn't just making them tired, it's directly linked to major sleep problems like insomnia, and even more worrying, a higher risk for serious mental health issues like depression and anxiety.
Okay, so we've laid out the problem. But the good news is you are not powerless here. Not at all. So let's talk solutions. Let's look at a few simple but super powerful things you can do to take back your nights and give your brain a break.
Here are 3 things you can literally start doing tonight. First, create a no-phone zone for the hour before you go to sleep. This gives your brain a chance to actually wind down. Second, turn off all non-essential notifications. That way, you decide when to check your phone, not the other way around. And finally, maybe the most powerful tip of all, charge your phone in another room. Out of sight, out of mind. It removes the temptation completely.
So as we wrap up, it really all boils down to this one question. In our constant need to be connected, what are we willing to give up? Now that we know the real cost to our focus, our memory, and our mental health, we can start to make better choices. The choice is yours, so what are you going to choose tonight?